Hey band fam, this week's assignment, just to get things rolling, is on straight up 16th notes, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, not any of the combinations like 1 and a 2 and 3 a 4 and a 1 or anything like that. So you're going to see in the PDFs that I sent you that we have A, B, C, D, E, and F, okay? A through E are for you and I to work on together, and F is what you're going to send me as your playing assignment, okay? So, full disclosure, this week, everybody in the band has the same thing. Percussion, if you want to do mallets or snare, it's totally fine. The snare one talks about single stroke rolls, right, left, and paradiddles, right, left, right, left, left, okay? Just make sure I didn't put on the PDF that you need to put an accent at the front of your paradiddle. Just be careful. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at a couple of rhythms, okay, on this board here behind me, which I just so happen to have because, you know, teacher house, might as well have a whiteboard. This first line, very simple rhythm. 1, 2, and 3, 4, okay? If you want to clap that with me, you can. Ready, and go. 1, 2, and 3, 4, okay? The second line, we have our 16th notes, okay? Going back to this line, or the first line really quick, your 8th notes are how much faster than your quarter notes. Hopefully, you answered twice as fast, which is correct. 1, 2, and 3, 4. That is twice as fast on beat 2 when you have these 8th notes. What makes them 8th notes? Good question. Your 8th notes are defined by one line connecting them. As opposed to down here, you have one line again, but then you have 16th notes, and they have 2 lines. That's how you visually see the difference between what the actual notes that you're looking at are. How many stems connect them? Obviously, quarter notes don't have any lines going sideways or horizontal, but they all have lines that are going vertical, up and down. So, one line means 8th notes, 1 and 2, and this is my toe tap, by the way. 1 and 2, and that's my toe. 1 and 2, and nom. So, hopefully some of you are laughing at this because I get a kick out of it. So, what happens with 16th notes is they double the 8th notes. So, if we have 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and our 16th notes are 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a, 1. You're going to notice that when I say 1 and 2 and, the number is when my toe comes down, and the and is when my toe comes up, okay? So, even when I'm counting 16th notes, 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, same thing. The number is when my toe tap is down, and the and is when my toe tap comes up. That is just how your toe tap works. You got to keep it consistent. Hopefully none of you are going 1, 2, 3, 4, and all spastic. Hopefully you're just 1 and 2, like Pac-Man. Wah, 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 wah. Again, hope you guys laugh a little bit at me. Notice I said at me and not with me. So, our second rhythm is 1 and 2E and 3, 4. Now, a big part about your assignment this week is I'm going to give you a tempo to do all of this at. If you are a freshman or a sophomore, your tempo is 70. If you are a junior or a senior, your tempo is 80, okay? When you look at the PDF that I send out, the first 2, A and B, super simple, because they're just the rhythm on one single pitch. I guess B does change pitch a little bit, so a little bit harder, but still not too bad. It's just using 2 notes. So I want you to go to this link right here. Did it work? I still don't know how to put links in YouTube videos, but I figured if I pointed it might come up. You need to go to the metronome link that I put on the post with this video because I don't know how to. It just didn't happen. I don't know. I don't know how to embed stuff. If anybody wants to give me a tutorial, I'll take it. Just saying. So go to the metronome that I gave you a link to. If you don't have or if you're unable to go to there, hopefully maybe you have your own metronome. I personally have mine on my phone. It rocks, and it goes beep boop, like it's supposed to. So for the sake of 70 versus 80, I'm going to go 75, okay? 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, okay? This is your world's best friend when you are practicing, Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to play A first. First thing we're going to do is count it. The second thing we're going to do is play it. Okay, 2 and A, go. 1, 2 and 3 E and a 4. 1 and 2 E and a 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3 E and a 4. 1, 2 E and a 3 and 4. All right, now we're going to play it. Here we go. 2 and rep, 2. Alright, that's a little loud. It's kind of actually hurting my ears, so let me turn it down a little bit. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to go on to line B. Okay, the only thing that's really different is, yes, it gives a couple extra pitches, but it's not really messing with moving a lot on the 16th notes. We get to that in letter C. So here's letter B. Ready? 2 and rep, go. Alright, not bad. So, maybe you need to go over A and B a couple of times, and that's okay. If you need to do that, please do that. The reason I'm making this video isn't so you guys get it done once, it's so we can ease into what we're going to do over the coming weeks. So, letter C, you start to move on 1E and a 2 and 3E and a 4, and it changes pitches a little bit. So let's go ahead and let's try letter C. Our rhythm is 1E and a 2 and 3E and a 4, 1 and 2 and 3E and a 4E and a 1, 2, 3, rest. So I want you to look at the second measure of C. There are 4 notes joined by 1 bar. They are joined by 1 bar, which makes them an 8th note. It is not 16th notes because there's 4 in a group. Keep that in mind. 16th notes come after that. But here we go. This is letter C. Again, I got my metronome going. And 1E and a 2 and rep and a. Alright? So that is our letter C. Now, if you look at letter D, it's a scale based on 16th notes, but I add a 9th at the top of the scale. It's your 9th note that you play, ironically. It's on beat 3. For some of you, it's a high D. For some of you, it's a high C. For some of you, it's a high A. Just depends on your instrument right now. So, letter D, okay? I bet, I would be willing to put money on it, that nobody's going to look at this and play it absolutely perfect. At this point, I'm going to reference this video. Still didn't work? Okay. I'm going to reference the video that I gave you on practicing. I actually go through something for the first time in that video and show you the way that I would practice. And I think letter D is a good point to actually do some of this. Letter C, really anything you're looking at, and definitely letter F when you get to it. You have to take things slow. If performance tempo is 100 beats per minute, you don't practice starting at 100 beats per minute. You start out at like 70 because you need to learn to play things slow and in time if you expect to speed it up and for it to be in time. If any of you want to try and prove me wrong on that, go for it. But I guarantee you're going to have a hard time doing that. I promise you that is the best way to practice that I am aware of. Some of you might have your own way that works better for you, and that's great. But also, starting at the beginning and going to the end is not going to be the answer. Guarantee it. So, 50 beats per minute, 16th notes. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1. Okay? So I'm going to try it at this tempo first. Play with me, listen, and then play back. I don't care what you do. Here we go. Ready, go. Again, letter D. And ready, and go. Alright? So, if I can get it at 50, I'm going to start to speed it up, okay? Eventually, you want to try and play it at either 70 or 80, whatever your tempo is. Here's 80 beats per minute. Let me just see if I can jump there. But, hint, I've been practicing this just so I didn't look like a fool. Anywho, so then we're going to move to letter E, okay? Now, with each of these, you don't need to go on like I am. I'm just explaining each of them in one video so I don't have to post 19 million different videos this week and next week and the next week and the next week. So, for letter E, okay, let's look at it. We're moving around on our 16th notes, and it's basically scale-wise. Do, ti, la, sol, fa. Those are your first 5 notes. But when you get to the last 5 notes of letter E, you have an arpeggio. Do, mi, so, ti, do. Do, mi, so, ti, do. Okay, that works for me. Maybe it doesn't work for you. Solfege helps me as a musician so much. So I'm going to slow things back down. I'm going to go down to 60 beats per minute. And here's letter E. And and again, and and go. So, a couple things. I'm separating my 16th notes by tonguing efficiently. My embouchure is where it needs to be, and I'm also giving value to those quarter notes. I'm not going 1 E and a 2 E and a I'm not doing that. 1 E and a 2, 3 E and a 4, 1 E and a 2, 3 E and a 4. Okay? Take your time and make sure that you are practicing wisely. So, if you practice A, B, C, D, and E well enough, F should go a little bit easier for you. Actually, letter D is literally the third to last measure of letter F. I'm trying to help you out a little bit here. So, what you need to do this week is you need to submit a recording of you playing letter F at either 70 beats per minute if you're a freshman or a sophomore, or 80 beats per minute if you are a junior or a senior. Use a metronome, okay? Again, percussion, you have the choice. Do you want to use snare or do you want to use bells? Either of them works. If you don't have a bell kit and you want to use a piano, totally fine. All right? Anyways, happy practicing, and I will catch y'all on the flippity flop.